Started.
The conference is being recorded. We've got my good friend Hugh Paul Ward from Ireland with us. What a treat to have him here. It is 1 a.m. in the morning in Ireland, and this gentleman has come, stayed up to tell us all about KB Gold. And thank you for that. So at any rate, KB Gold, a 16-year-old firm out of Germany. We have the greatest gold-backed savings program in the world. I'm going to let Hugh Paul tell you about everything. He's going to go over what KB does, what it's all about, a little bit about the compensation plan. In the past, there has been some times that we've had a Q&A session. We're going to save that for the webinars on Tuesday. The call has just gotten too big for that, and we want to respect your time. So thanks again for everybody that's come to the call tonight, and I'm going to turn it over to my good friend Hugh Paul Ward. Take it away, Hugh Paul.
Well, thanks firstly for inviting me to the call, Britt. It's a pleasure to speak to all of you. I'm from Ireland. I've lived here all my life. I'm married with 6 young kids. I have 6 kids between the age of 5 and 15. I've been involved in conventional business since 1986. I've set up 2 companies here in Ireland. We're involved in the leisure industry. We're also involved in real estate. And over the last, 18 months, to be fair, things have got a little bit different in terms of the economic climate we find ourselves in. We find it quite difficult to get funding from banks, and the credit market is quite tough. So all I can say is I became into what I call the looking zone. I started to look for other forms of revenue to support my existing businesses, which actually need a little bit of attention with the recessionary times we're in, and also just to support my family, my lifestyle. And I got very, very excited several months back when I heard about the potential of getting involved with KB Gold. Now, KB is a company, as Britt has rightly said, started back in 1994. And essentially, in the early days, and for over 14 years, they were involved in products like investment-style products like savings plans and kind of insurance-type programs. And about 2 years ago, they got very interested in the gold markets because the experts, the Mark Febers of the world and the Robert Kiyosaki's and lots of newspaper items, television items, and articles were starting to be pronounced about the value of gold. And for most of us on the call, I would assume, certainly most of us on the planet, none of us really ever appreciated the real value of gold. We accepted gold as a present very often in the form of jewelry, and that was the value, the sentimental value we attached to the product. However, there is a necessity in the current market we're all in that, and we probably should have been here a long time ago, is that how does the average person get involved in protecting themselves essentially with something valuable like gold? And to that end, KB got involved in the gold industry, inverted commas, by first of all purchasing their own gold mine. This is an exceptional move to make on behalf of the company, but they had a strategy and a philosophy that they could actually bring, if you like, gold to the masses. And what they did initially was they purchased the gold mine. They then purchased the rights and licenses to mine out of other mines so that they would have an ongoing source. And then what they did was they created a refinery to take the gold, to take the rock, to break it down, to turn it into bullion, and obviously to, if you like, manufacture it, because that's what they do. They manufacture the gold bullion into tiny little bars in acceptable amounts from as little as 0.5 of a gram. Today they're the world's largest producer of 1 gram gold ingot bars. They also do 2.5 grams and 5 grams. They're small little ingots versus the large, let's say, style bars like ounces or kilos, which are not very, if you like, they're not very tradable. Gold bars are not really a commodity that people run around with in pockets. Whereas what these guys have created is a fabulous, fabulous product I'm going to talk about in just a second. But initially they bought the mine, then they created the refinery, which cuts out a lot of the middlemen. Then they introduced the distribution, and that's where we on the call come into tonight. So they're really taking gold from the source, from the ground, and bringing it directly to the consumer by cutting out all the middlemen. They're cutting out the banks, they're cutting out the gold dealers, they're cutting out the online marketeers, they're cutting out everything because I know that sometimes I've been to a jeweler's shop. I have a friend told me there's sometimes up to 300% markup, and these guys have been able to take that all out of the equation and bring gold to you. Not any cheaper than really what it is, but there's a commission structure based into our marketing plan which is exceptional, and that's due to how the company have put the whole plan together. Now, the company is based in Germany, and Germany, as we know, is probably a highly regulated country. It's fantastic. They've also set up the what we call the storage or shipment process as well. And what they've done is all the gold is held third party in our names in what we call the St. Gothard Massif storage area. Now, this depot, if you like, is it's in Switzerland. It's absolutely fabulous. We know that a lot of wealthy business investors store their gold there. We know that lots of the banks keep their gold there. We know that the Swiss government keeps its national reserves in this storage depot as well. And for any of us on the call tonight that want to purchase gold, we have an option to store it in the gold vault, or we can have it shipped to us. And as we grow outside of Europe, essentially into the United States and Canada, we're going to set up local depots in the United States and Canadian marketplaces where you can have your gold. At the moment, for those of us purchasing gold in Europe, we can have it stored in St. Gothard Massif, or we can have it delivered directly to the consumer's home if you want to hold the gold in your possession. So very, very cleverly, they own the mine, they own the refinery and production, they own well, they don't own it, but they've taken care of the storage of the gold, and they've also created the distribution. Now, our product is what we call 24 karat 999.9 gold bullion. That's the purest of gold. They don't do it in any other format because pure gold, 24 karat 999.9 fine gold, is a currency. It's actually a currency in 194 countries. In fact, you probably know if you've done your homework before this call that the dollar essentially is losing a lot of its value. The dollar used to be backed by gold in the vaults, but today it's not. It's lost its value, and it's a very, very wise thing for any person on the planet to put some part of their saving into gold. You know, people would recommend you could put maybe up to 20% of your assets should be in gold. Now, I got involved in property back in 1994, and I built up a £6 million property portfolio, something like $10 million of property. And to my detriment today, my assets have gone down in value in the revaluation of the markets. Whereas had I applied some, if not all, of my assets into gold, well, we can tell you in the last year alone, gold has gone up by 40%. But since the beginning of time, gold either holds its value or holds its worth, or can go up in price, and that's where our product's positioned here. Now, tonight is an overview. We don't want to go into all the detail about the trends and what's happened with gold. There's plenty of information we can refer to either before or after this call. Some of you already have the information. We've got videos. It's all over YouTube. It's in the newspapers. The experts will tell you about gold. What we want to tell you about is our simple product, which is absolutely fantastic. What we've done is we've taken the gold bars or the gold ingots and we've embedded them into a plastic card. Now, that sounded unusual to me, but essentially, normally you had a gold bar and you had a piece of paper or a certificate to back exactly what the gold bar was, what it consisted of, its weight, and its value, etc. What this company very cleverly have done is they've embedded the gold bullion bar into a plastic card. If you could imagine a credit card size card with the gold bullion embedded into the card. And what happens, therefore, is the product itself and the certificate are one and all. In other words, the gold's there, but the plastic card has got the serial number on it, it's got the weight on it, it's got a hologram on it, where you can take this product to any bank or any jeweler, and they can put their magic eyeglass across it and tell you exactly the weight, the purity of it, and etc., and then they can work out a valuation for you. So it's a very, very clever product. If you haven't seen it, and I know some people in the United States already have been given the product, you can possibly see it on our websites, or you can come to our webinar where you'll actually see the visuals of what I'm describing you tonight. Now, up to about a year ago, I wasn't just clever enough to buy any assets in gold. And it's because I didn't know. I mean, most people, as I said, probably would have thought about going to the jeweler's shop to buy gold. But in the gold market, would you go to the bank? That's probably one of the dearer places to buy it. And very often, none of the banks have any gold. Where else would you go? Would you go to the internet? Would you trust the internet? Do you know its purity? Do you know it's a genuine product? Well, I guess I wouldn't have trusted that. Would you go to the high street and look for a dealer or some kind of broker? Or where would you buy your gold? Well, with our program, when one of your buddies or friends or business colleagues or acquaintances or associates become a product of our product, when they feel the product, touch the product, and know that it is what it says, then you can trust that referral for you to be getting involved with KB Gold. And this is why they're using our referral marketing system to expand this across the world. And it's absolutely working fantastically. So we've got what we call half-gram cards, we've got 1-gram cards, we've 2.5-gram cards, we've 5-gram cards, and they're very, very, very cleverly designed. And again, lots of the video and web material will give you some idea of how they actually look, the product itself. Now, the next question people on the call tonight is going to ask us, well, why should we buy gold from KB? Apart from the sensibility of actually holding an asset in gold, but why do we trust KB? Why are they different? Why are they better? Why should we use this model? Well, number one, most people, because KB permit us to buy gold at little amounts at a time, a little bit today, a little bit next month, a little bit the month after, when we buy through a monthly purchase plan, what we're actually doing is we're not worried about whether gold goes up today and down tomorrow and up $2 the next day and down 50 cents the next day. We write out what we call the cost average effect by buying a little bit at a time, because over time, as trends have shown in the past, whilst gold can marginally go up and down, it will hold its value or go up in value. So if you're buying this asset on a monthly purchase time, you can save for the future. Maybe you want to save some gold for the next 3 years. Maybe it's 5 years. Some people are conditioned to save for many, many years, just like their mortgage or their 401k or whatever. People are accustomed to put away for a rainy day. Instead of leaving it in a bank, where it's not so clever these days, it's possibly an idea on the call here tonight that you might like the idea of placing your money into gold, something that will be of real value when of course, the dollar really loses its value. So number one, we write out the cost average effect by buying a little bit at a time. To go into the bank and ask them for 1 gram of gold, well, I don't think you're going to get it. With our system, you can buy it a little bit at a time over a monthly purchase plan. The second thing, which is very clever, the company have introduced what we call a holiday payment. In other words, when times get tough, or maybe we're out on holidays, or situations just aren't suiting us with a change in job or career, maybe we can't commit to our monthly purchase plan for a period of time. Well, simply pick up the phone, call the company, just explain that you would like to put your savings plan on hold. And the company have a system in place where they will give us what we call a holiday payment. And they say, listen, if you don't want to subscribe for the next 3 months, that's fine. We'll put it on hold. And sure, when times are better, why not come back and re-engage with your savings plan? And that's another reason to use KB, because traditionally you wouldn't be fit to do that. Another brilliant reason and a very important reason is that KB will give every one of its customers what they call a best buyback price guarantee for their gold. See, it's very important, number one, when you buy the gold, but it's also more important when you get rid of it. When's the time to cash in? So this company will give you a best price guarantee to buy back. They will beat the bank for their gold. It's absolutely a very, very, very honorable thing to do with their product. Another important thing to understand as well is for the storage. Now, not everybody wants to house a whole lot of gold in their home. That's essentially a risky thing to do. So what you can do is you can leave it in the depot in the United States. You leave your gold bank there. And there is no charge for this, not like a bank account or any other business where you'd be paying monthly fees to store it. There's actually free storage with KB, which is important, and also free delivery on amounts that exceed €3,000, let's call that $4,000 or $5,000, on any amounts that you want delivered to your home. There's going to be no charge for that delivery on your first order, and that's